Hola chicos， 我是 Adele。今天我邀请到两个朋友来我的频道，一个是 Nina， 一个是 William。那他们两个都是来自法国的学生，他们在台湾都曾住过一段时间，那之前也都在世界各个城市住过，所以今天我想要邀请他们来跟大家分享一下对于这次疫情的想法。那这支影片都会用英文。Now, like everyone is talking about the virus. What do we learn from the virus?
You know, we've been talking about globalization, and we study so much about globalization when we're in high school and we're in university, and we understand globalization as in the market sense of it, like this whole global situation, how it started in one place and then it spread literally everywhere. It really gives us an opportunity to understand that globalization is not just about business anymore. It's really about everything. If a country has a problem, it's everyone's problem, and I hope that it's gonna bring more solidarity and, you know, almost like some kind of brotherhood between countries. Like, we're all in the same world. This is such a great opportunity to realize it. It's not because I live in this country and you live in this country we should deal separately about it. No, like let's act together.
I think also the mutual support that you can see is really important. For instance, like how Taiwan has been sending masks to the European Union, how the European Union is like dealing with the problem together, how they're like trying to find solutions. So it's not, of course every country has its own policies, they're trying to do their best to maintain the virus, but you can also see how they try to collaborate within each other. So I think that's very important. And that's definitely a lesson we should learn on how countries can cooperate to deal better with issues like this.
Some friends from Europe, they would say, oh, that's so nice, like Taiwan so good, but I was like, yeah, but we are good, but that
you don't just feel good. Taiwan the life is almost normal,
like, almost.
But we don't feel normal just because we are
exactly.
aware of the rest of the world, you know, from here.
Say.
Yeah. And no, I really think it's. I really hope that whenever the situation settles, like whenever we'll face like other problems, because there will be other problems, and you could even just mention the climate change. But I really hope that it's gonna bring a different vision on the whole thing, you know, and. You know, when you think about how Europe has been dealing with this, I'm not a pro, I'm not an expert, and people can say I'm wrong and I will accept it, but from my perspective, it feels like it started in China, and from the news I was watching at this time, I was reading both like the international news and the European French news, and it just felt like you could see in the news that we feel like it's just another disease in a far away place. Europe was like, it's something far away, and we still have our own problems, and we should first deal with our own thing, you know, growth, the debt and everything, like our own stuff. But in the end, it just came right in our face, you know, really strong, and even stronger than in Asia. And it just really shows us we shouldn't be so narrow-minded with our own little problems, you know. I hope that we're gonna learn what are the priorities. Global warming and climate change is gonna be one of our priority, and I like to see that more and more young people, you know, maybe our government is still a bit, we're not the same generation as our current government, but I'm hoping that our generation will be the ones who bring this real realization and this real change in the mindset.
Yeah, and I think also Corona gives us a lot of lessons about global warming, because for instance, like when you see that in India they saw the Himalaya for the first time in like forever, it means a lot in the sense that like we got so used to like this environment that's so polluted, you know, and that where everything is going so fast, and all of a sudden stopping everything all at once obviously has like a tremendous effect, because you realize, oh wow, you know, I can see the sky again. You know, like literally that's how it is. And if something like this did not happen, I feel like it would just keep on going the same way and nothing. So I feel like although for sure things are going to start again and factories are going to reopen and if people are going to pollute again, of course, I mean that's how the economy works. But I think that seeing how it can be without all this, you know, pollution and all this like actions that are going on, I think it's going to make people realize that there is a chance that there is a change that must be made. It doesn't have to be so drastic, of course, because I mean stopping everything at once,
I totally agree.
It's very bad for the economy. But I think that trying to slow down a little bit and see what solutions we can bring. I think
I think we've already like
at least
a lot
awareness.
The awareness and also just the actual solutions. Some on the micro level, you know, we've seen a lot of working at home, and like we're changing the way we work, and we're realizing that actually it's not a fixed thing. You know, we can rethink the way we work and the way we produce and everything. Yeah, we can. I think we can find ways to conciliate.
So do you think like because of the culture difference, like that affects how we deal with these virus?
Yeah, I think that definitely in Taiwan, for instance, the collective idea that you have that you should, you know, help each other, and it's not just about protecting yourself, is something that is very important in the sense that even before the virus, people would always wear masks when they were sick. Just it wouldn't be about protecting yourself, but just about preventing others from getting sick. And I think that's a very big difference in the sense that we never had this habit in Europe, and I think probably after the virus it will become something more common. But it has been implemented for a long time in Taiwan to think, okay, if I'm sick, I want to protect others. And I think that also that really helped in the sense that very early on people started wearing masks, although it would not necessarily protect themselves, but they would just protect others. And if everyone wear masks and everyone has this attitude, which is the case now because it's mandatory as well, but I think that really helps. And I think this is not necessarily the case in Europe. Of course, there is this mentality in the family, in the circle that you have, but you're not necessarily going to have this mindset. I think there is Europe is more individualistic in that sense.
Of course.
So I think this is a very good lesson that we can have, you know, to think about not only our well-being, but the well-being of others, which in the end reflects on us, right? Because if more people get sick, then it's likely that I'm going to get sick as well, right? And for instance, like the climate change, like it doesn't affect me personally.
No.
I don't have, you know, it's...
Our life is...
my life is not completely... But if I look at the scale of the world, there are people that are affected by the climate change. There are people whose houses are just being flooded because they live at the sea and the water level is rising. It doesn't affect me personally because I don't live so close to the beach, but it does affect some people, you know?
It might affect Taiwan as well.
Yeah, and so...
We don't feel the threat. Like so directly or so...
Just like Europeans didn't feel the threat of the virus. So we have to look further now. We know that there's a threat. Like, Europeans knew that there was a threat with the virus, but we're like, wow, it's okay.
Oh, so far.
Yeah, so far. Same climate change. We know that there's a threat. Like,
well, I think also because the SARS was, you know, just stayed in Asia. I think that also a lot of people looked at this virus the same way as the SARS, but the difference is that this virus is much more spreads much faster, so it's managed to go all the way to Europe. So I think that probably a lot of people looked at it, okay, this is just going to affect Asia, we're not going to get affected, or it will be a very minor effect. But I think that was something that allowed the virus to actually come, because the measures that were taken in Taiwan very early, like making everyone wear masks, making sure to ration the masks so that everyone can buy them so that they don't get like sold out, right? That was done like very, very early already. I think all these measures have a great impact because Taiwan had the experience of the SARS, and I think that's what made the main difference, because Europe was never confronted.
But that's why we can be hopeful, because you see that Taiwan had the experience before. They've been through something like this, nationwide crisis, and so the next one they knew how to react. And so I'm hopeful that now Europe, we've been through this crisis. I mean, we're still going under it, but like whenever we'll be done with it, we'll learn from it, and whenever we'll be facing something similar, we'll know how to react, and we'll react faster.
I think that in Europe, before the virus, that was still the case. People, if you would wear a mask, that was just very, very odd. So people would think, oh, she probably has like something really contagious, and she's like, I shouldn't get any close to this person because he has, or I mean, you would pretty much never see someone with a mask. Whereas in Taiwan, I remember when I came and I saw like so many people wearing masks in the metro, and that's cool.
You're like, what?
I was thinking, what's wrong with them? Like, why
It's a
are
very
they all
sick
wearing a
country.
mask? And then I realized they're just doing that because they don't want others to get sick.
Yeah.
For sure, wearing masks is going to become way more mainstream in Europe. And I mean, just for instance, factories, like in Europe, there are like barely any factories. Like now, I know they're producing like masks in Turkey, for instance. And like Taiwan is a huge exporter, right? So of course, from the start, we had a lot of masks. So I think that first of all, a lot of factories are going to be created throughout Europe to, you know, have more masks. People are going to
More
wear
hygiene
more masks.
in general. More
And,
hygiene.
you know, there's going to be more education about if you're sick, you should wear a mask. If you have this, you know, you should like take more prevention, because there's going to be more diseases. And with globalization, as you said, diseases are going to spread worldwide. So I think that making sure that from the moment you know you're sick, you make sure to, you know, wear a mask, wash your hands, all these, you know, all these little things, I think we can apply them in the future for any type of disease in general.
What's the effect of lockdown on your family or your friends or personal life?
To be honest, I think it very much depends on the condition you live in. So for instance, if you live, you know, in an apartment, if you have a garden, obviously it makes a tremendous difference.
Yeah.
How many people you live with? Some people live with like 8 people, 9 people. Like some kids are living with like, you know, sleep with their siblings. So of course it makes a huge difference if you're a lot of people locked down in one small space. For my family, they have a chance to be able to go outside. They have a garden and they're not so many living in the same house. And I feel like it's brought them closer to each other, to be honest. I see that they're spending a lot of time together. My little nephew is 2. He's spending a lot of time with my dad. They're, you know, doing a lot of renovation in the garden. They're spending a lot of time together. So, although of course it's hard, and I mean everything is slowing down, business is slowing down, everything is, you know, at a slower pace, I really feel like it really brings families together, you know. I can definitely see that in my family. Although, you know, of course there are plenty of downsides of the lockdown, and of course my perspective is a perspective that's from far away because I haven't experienced it myself. But at least for my family, from this point of view, I really feel that it has is very positive.
The impression I have from talking with my family and talking with friends in different parts of the world, it's really about it's a huge change of pace, you know. They're living in a completely different speed, you know. We're used to like going so fast and we have to work, and then we come back home and we do this and we prepare food, whatever. But now it's really different. Everyone has so much time that we have to rethink what we can do with our own selves, and everyone's getting pretty creative, I think. I mean, a lot of people are getting super creative, being able to, I mean, not talking about family right now, but even content creators, like you see on the internet, everyone is, wow, like it's very impressive, everyone, like what you can do in just your house, you know, people making whole movies in their own house.
Yeah.
So
people TikToking all the time.
I don't know about TikTok, but
I haven't downloaded it yet, but it's becoming very popular these days.
Yeah. I really like to see people trying new things, you know. Although you don't even have, like, it's crazy to think that it might be one of the times where you have access to much less resources, and yet you're doing so much new things compared to, you know, that's really awesome to see them take the time. I mean, my mom just told me this morning she's trying to write a book. Like, what? But it's cool, you know, and like we have some friends, they take more time to exercise and you know, learn some new stuff online.
It's just something we always want to go to do it, but then we always think we don't have time to do it, and then like now is really the time you will. It's
crazy that it's a virus that has to force us to try something new, you know. Again, I really hope that it's something that when everyone gets back to the normal rhythm, still like maybe we'll have some incentives to leave more times for you know, creativity.
No, I mean, even for instance, like I can see now that I'm talking much more with my friends in France, because
that's so true.
They're organizing, you know, like Skypes and like, you know, messenger calls and all of that. And we haven't, like, for instance, I have this group of friends, we're like 8 friends, like 8 female friends, and they had maybe like 5 or 6 calls like since this started, whereas we'd never had one in the 4 years of friendship we had before.
Yeah,
so it's amazing to see that like in the end this is bringing us closer to each other, because of course I'm a bit of an outsider because I'm in Taiwan and it's different, but like, you know, they're sharing about the experience, about the lockdown, how they feel, how it's going, and obviously people have time now to actually, you know, take the time to call their friends that are far away, you know, just, you know, try to strengthen their relationship.
Also got like the same experience. Just a few days ago, I also attend my friend's birthday party in Argentina.
Yes.
Normally, of course, they would just have a this party at home, and of course I wouldn't be able to attend. But since everyone's at home, so we just have this online birthday party, and then it's like super nice.
So cool.
And then so I think this kind of like even bring us together. I think it's also quite interesting, like, because you got so much time for yourself now, so you really start thinking a lot of things in your life. Like some of my friends, they start thinking their relationship, their life, what they want.
So me too.
Like sometimes they at the end, like when they think of long term, and he just realized like, okay, he didn't really see the long future with his ex-girlfriend, and then they broke up, you know. The other day I also got a message
I've seen a lot of people breaking up.
So lately. I don't know, because
is this supposed to be a positive video?
I know, because you just really think, okay, is that really what you want? You're just doing all the things without thinking, and then now suddenly you have this time and you start thinking.
I really hope that also it's gonna help us enjoy even better the real time, you know. I love seeing us going all online because it's not like really any other option, but I hope that also it's gonna help us like do like really enjoy the real time we have with real people, you know. I mean, again, we've not been experiencing the lockdown, but I can imagine that for my parents or my friends, whenever they'll see each other again, I think something special will happen, and I hope that it's not gonna be just a matter of a few days and then we always forget. We already forget, you know. I hope really I don't know, like it's cool. Like this virus is really slowing down the world. It's very contradictory because it's spreading really fast, but it's slowing us down. And
really interesting. Like I was talking with this friend who had to, be locked down, be quarantined for 2 weeks because she came back to Taiwan from Europe, and she was telling me, I was telling her, so what did you know, how was it when you went out after 2 weeks, right? And she was like, it was raining when I went out, and I thought probably she was not happy about it. But she was very happy about it because she was like, it was so nice to feel the rain, and like it felt so she was like, it felt so weird, and I was so happy, you know, just to like be outside and feel the wind and feel the rain. And I mean, I'm pretty sure very few people would have this kind of thinking on a daily basis when it's raining every day. You're like, no, I don't want to, like, I forgot my umbrella, this is so annoying. And she was just so happy to be outside and just feel the rain on her head and her hands, and she was just, you know.
she was just wet.
Wait, and then running on the street like doing the race.
I
thought that was really, really interesting on how, you know, you realize, you start appreciating things that you would usually not appreciate, you know.
I think we just take all these for granted, no?
Yeah, of course. Just in general, you know, whenever something happens to you and you're in a bad place, you know. But then when you get out, I hope that you can remember to enjoy what you have now that maybe for a while you didn't have.
So how would you summarize in a few words your points?
It's a unique situation we're going through right now. We've like the world has never felt this before. Like, I mean, pandemic has never been that worldwide. Like any kind of crisis has never like changed our lives so much in such a short period of time. So we hope that it's not gonna be just one crisis and then we get out of it and then we forget, you know. We hope that we're gonna learn something from it, and we hope it can be a catalyst for change, you know. Like some kind of energy, you know, that's gonna bring positive change. Yes.
As I said again, my perspective is just what I've been hearing from my family, from my friends from Europe. So I can't talk from my own experience. But I really think that despite all the negative sides that we can obviously see, I think there are also good sides from how people are following their own interests, how people are getting closer to each other, especially from a family perspective, because usually families are locked down together. So how everyone is just spending more time, trying to do things together, thinking about more activities to do. So I think that these are all things that are really great. And for instance, I also know a lot of friends who are studying abroad are now back home and haven't been back home for such a long time for ever.
Exactly, that's true.
So I think that's really nice, that you can see that and that, families can spend more time together.
After all these, and we can't really go back to normal where we were before, but definitely something is changing. 今天我们分享了很多跟疫情有关的想法，这些都是根据我们个人的经验、身边的亲朋好友，那给大家做一个参考。希望这个影片可以带给你们一些其他不一样的观点。那我们也很谢谢 Nina 跟 William 跟我们分享了很多。等到这波疫情都更稳定之后，希望大家的生活都可以恢复到正常。那也让我们更珍惜我们现在所拥有的，已经把它当作理所当然的事情，就是更珍惜。那今天的影片就到这边，希望你们都喜欢。喜欢的话，记得帮我按赞、加分享，还有订阅。
Yeah, and let us know in the comment what you think.
Yeah,
I'm actually very curious, for real.
对，所以像他们也都很希望，就是可以听到你们的意见，你们对于欧洲现在的疫情有什么样的想法，都很欢迎你们在下面留言。那其实他们都会讲中文啦，所以他们看得懂。
可以啊，
下次见。
我已经说过了，但是下次见。
下次见。
拜拜。